I do want to talk about the bad news later, but let's talk about Nikki Haley first. And from what you're saying, it sounds like you think a win for Donald Trump being the nominee is inevitable. I want to quote you from something you wrote before the primary. This is what you wrote. Quote, DeSantis' loss in Iowa doomed him. Haley must win New Hampshire and South Carolina to survive. She didn't win New Hampshire. South Carolina is about a month away. So is her campaign effectively over, do you think?
Well, she doesn't think it's over, but I do.
She doesn't
And
think it's
she's,
over, but everyone in the media thinks it's over. What's the disconnect here?
I just wrote a column for Spectator, and I start off with something that you probably remember, Brittany, from all those cartoons where Wile E. Coyote runs straight off the cliff and he hangs in midair because he hasn't looked down. As soon as he looks down, he's in trouble and down he goes. And I think that Nikki has run off the cliff, but she hasn't looked down yet. And in fact, her speech after losing in New Hampshire was really a victory speech. That was, I assume it was for to keep her donor base and her campaign enthusiastic. She couldn't actually believe that. So it's kind of perplexing why she is staying in. Her one thing I should say, she would be forced out if she didn't have money. That in the end is what happened to DeSantis. It's not that the money bags control everything. They're looking at the votes. They just didn't see a path for DeSantis. They pulled in their money. It's not clear who's funding Nikki Haley. But so far, they haven't pulled the funds. If they are Democrats or something, they won't pull the funds because the longer they can keep her in the race, the better. But let me tell you what the confusion that I have, my perplexity in thinking about her position is. If she she lost in New Hampshire, her best state. She's 30 points behind in the polling in South Carolina, her home state. Every major Republican politician in the state has endorsed Trump, save one member of the House, U.S. House. So they've all are on board, including Tim Scott, who she appointed to the Senate. So they all think that Trump will win, and they want to be on the winning side. So why is she staying in? Well, one reason, of course, could be the kind of black swan event that there's a health problem or something else with Trump. Let's leave that aside. There's no predicting that. She could be setting herself up for a third party run. If she does that, she's finished as a Republican. She can't come back as a Republican after doing that because she would draw a lot of votes away from Trump and probably keep him out of the White House. If she's setting herself up for another Trump loss, and by the way, I don't just mean he lost in 2020. He dragged down the Republican Party in 2018, 2022, and 2023. And if he not only loses this time, but drags down the party down ballot in 2024, the party will blow up and they'll have to reform. And she may be thinking, I could be the person who becomes, in effect, the leader because I was the last person standing. There would be a fight between, if you will, the Ron DeSantis wing of the party and the more conventional Mitch McConnell, George H.W. Bush side of the party. But Trump has transformed the party, and it's really hard to see how Haley would win under those circumstances. But that's my, you know, top of the head thought.